Hi, Wendy and Sunshine Group. Thank you so much for being with us today for our kind of stand-in live meeting. So today we're just going to continue with talking about text structure. So before you begin, make sure that you're ready to get started. So for today, you're going to need your pencil, a highlighter of your choice. You're going to want your text structure pack, and you should be ready to begin. All right, let's go. All right, so what I want you to do right now, I want you to go ahead and find the learning target for today and point and no on to 1, 2. I can use clue words to help me to identify a cause and effect text structure. Boo! All right, Map. So you can see right here on our chart, cause and effect. You can see this arrow is causing something and it's almost like it's an explosion. So it's a good way to think. It's having an impact on something else. Okay, when something makes something else happen. Okay, and questions that we can ask is this explaining why something is occurring? So we're going to start with this first clip and then we'll get started.
Identifying cause and effect in texts is important as it helps us to understand the events that are happening. It helps us to understand what's happening and why it's happening. A cause happens first. It's why something happens. To find the cause, ask, why did this happen? An effect happens after the cause. It tells us what happened. Let's look at some cause and effect relationships. It rained. Carolina got wet. It raining is the cause because it must have occurred first, and because it tells us why Carolina got wet. Carolina getting wet is the effect because it had to have happened after the cause, and it tells us what happened. Here's another example. Phil stayed up late. Phil was tired in the morning. Let's start by looking for the cause, which happens first and tells why. That's right, Phil staying up late. Which happens after the cause and tells us what happened? That's right, Phil was tired in the morning. This is the effect. Cause and effect relationships occur every day. For example, if you study hard, you'll get better grades. Forget to use sunscreen on a hot day, you'll get sunburnt. Play in the mud, get muddy. An easy way to spot cause and effect relationships in books is to look out for signal words. Cause and effect signal words tell the reader that there might be cause and effect occurring. Here are some cause and effect signal words and phrases you might come across. Now, see if you can spot signal words in a text, and then work out which is the cause and which is the effect. Wendy was feeling sick, so she stayed home from school. Can you see the signal word? That's right, so. Now let's work out which is the cause and which is the effect. Remember, a cause happens first, but not always first in the text. And it answers the question, why did this happen? The cause must be Wendy feeling sick. It had to have happened first, and it answers the question, why? Why did she stay home? We know Wendy staying home from school must be the effect, because it happened after the cause, and it tells us what happened. Wendy stayed home. Let's look at this sentence. Can you find a signal word or phrase? The swimming carnival was cancelled due to bad weather. The signal phrase is due to. What is the cause and what is the effect? See if you can work it out. How did you go? The cause is the bad weather because it was the event that happened first, and it tells us the why. The effect is the swimming carnival being cancelled because it happened after the cause, and it tells us what happened. Try some more on your own. In each sentence, identify the signal word or phrase, then decide which is the cause and which is the effect. The children were hungry because they hadn't eaten all day. Because signals cause and effect. This is the cause and this is the effect. Since the class worked so hard, the teacher suggested a game. The word since signals cause and effect. This is the cause and this is the effect. Max said he'd cancel the race if the track was wet. The word if signals cause and effect. This is the cause and this is the effect. Spotting cause and effect is easy. EasyTeaching.net.
All right, moms.
Identifying.
So now we have a good understanding of looking at the signal words, or as we've been calling them clue words. And we're going to use that to help us identify and understand why we are calling the particular text that we're going to read today together a cause and effect text structure. We're going to use these to help us identify why it's a cause and effect text structure. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to share our now deeper understanding and clarification on our front page. And like I said, we have some more text that we're going to be using after we've done this first initial plan. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to go to the compare and contrast, or I'm sorry, what am I saying? Cause and effect text structure. And we're going to talk about the purpose. What is the purpose? Well, it said, right? We said that it tells you what happened. Tells you what happened. And this is the important part, right? Why it happened. Okay, and if you want to pause your video, absolutely do that. I'm just going to kind of go along today quickly, since you know that you can pause and write anytime. Now the clue words. What are some of the clue words that we learned today? We said texts that say, I think, words like because, right? Because it rained, we cannot play soccer on the field today, right? Or if-then statements. If this happens, then this happened. Okay. When, right? And just like we've discussed in each of these text structure conversations that we've had, we've talked about clue words. Just because you see when in a clue or in a text does not mean, right? But when we see many of these clue words within a text, it helps us understand that the structure all put together is a cause and effect text structure. Okay? As a result. Okay. And the last one, if you have room, consequently. Consequently. And that's an N. U-E-N. Con. C-O-N. Sec. S-E-Q. U-E-N-T-L-Y. Consequently means as a result. It's another way, okay, probably to use that, right? Therefore, as a result, we saw in the video we had today the word so, okay? So, Mavs, if you need to pause, go ahead and do that right now. And then we are going to turn our text to the page, Giant Panda Problem. Okay. And like I said, today you don't need to fill in the purpose because we already know what the purpose is. But I do want you to write down cause and effect. Right? And effect means the result of something. Okay? Now, that's a great question to ask if you're trying to understand or decide, is this text structure cause and effect? A great question that you can ask yourself is the author trying to show what caused something to happen? Or is it trying to teach me about the effects of something happening? So is the author, so we'll just do kind of not a full sentence, like trying to show what caused something. Okay, so that's that question. And I know that's not a complete sentence, but I want you to be sure that you can get the main idea, right? When you're asking yourself, is this a cause and effect relationship? Is this a cause and effect text structure? You can ask yourself, well, was the author trying to explain why something happened? And if so, and we notice those continual clue words throughout the text, then we can determine that the text structure is cause and effect. Okay? All right, Matt, so let's go ahead and get started. You're going to want to have your highlighter ready. You can choose any color that you would like today. It does not matter. All right, giant panda problem. Go ahead, and read along with me. There are far fewer giant pandas living in the world today than there were thousands of years ago. The main reason for their decrease in number is habitat loss. Habitat loss occurs when human activities destroy the land where an animal makes its home. Wow, Maps, what do you think explains something? Where do you see a clue word in this text? I want you to point to where you see a clue word or phrase in this paragraph. Yes, if you pointed to the main reason, then you are understanding that cause and effect is where you try to explain why something is happening. So in this case, it's letting you know that the main reason or the cause of something is what the author will say below. Okay, great job, Matt. So let's go to the second paragraph. Pandas used to live throughout most of eastern and southern China and into neighboring countries. Then humans began to take over the land that was home to the pandas. People cut down bamboo to sell it as lumber. They cleared entire forests to make room for farms, industry, housing, and roads. As a result, pandas lost their homes and their food source. Over the years, human populations expanded into the pandas' natural habitat. Consequently, pandas had less and less forest land on which to live. Wow, Max, I noticed several clue words or phrases that would help support our understanding that the structure of this text is cause and effect. What did you notice in the sentences? What are some of the key words? I want you to point to one. There's 3 in this text. So right now I want you to, in this paragraph, right now I want you to pause this video and I want you to underline with a pencil what you think those 3 clue words or phrases are. All right, Mavs, welcome back. Yes, okay, so the first one we see is it's telling us that pandas used to live throughout most of the eastern and southern China, and so it tells us that they lived in a lot of places. Then what happened, right? So the cause is that the humans began to take over the land. right? Right. This is kind of like then what happened. Okay. How about the next one? If you said as a result, you are correct. Right? So it's telling us as a result what happened next. And this first one, then humans began to take over. It's kind of like letting us know this is kind of what happened and then the effect was. So humans started to come in, and pandas used to live in throughout most of the eastern parts of China. Okay. The last one I want you to have underlined with your pencil was consequently. Remember, that was that one that we said at the very beginning of our lesson together today. So consequently, or as a result of, this is what happened. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and look at our third paragraph. Pandas no longer had one large continuous habitat. Instead, their habitat was divided into smaller sections with human development in between them. Today, the panda's natural habitat has been reduced to 6 isolated mountain ranges in China. Due to human population grabbing up their wild lands for human use, the available habitat for pandas is just 1% of its former size. What is a clue word that you underlined in this text to help you understand that this is a cause and effect relationship? Go ahead and pause your video again and come back as soon as you've underlined a transitional phrase or clue word that helps you to identify this text structure. All right, welcome back again, Matt. If you had underlined due to, I should just stop there. Sorry, due to, okay, then you are understanding that the effect is that the panda's natural habitat has been reduced. The cause was that human populations took up all of the land available to the pandas. All right, Matt. So here's our remembering that these transition words, these clue words, do not mean or signal a cause and effect relationship by themselves. But when you notice the continuation of these types of clue words throughout the structure of the text, throughout the entirety of the text, then you understand, yes, the structure of this text is cause and effect because it continued throughout the text to give us causes and effects of circumstances affecting pandas, the giant panda. All right, Maps. Hopefully you got all of that. Remember, you can pause the video and go back anytime that you need to. So in your Seesaw assignment, all you're going to do is take a picture of this one text that we did together today, and you are all done. Thanks for doing your live lesson as a recording with me today, Maps. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. All right, bye, Maps.